Hi cuties, it's Lips here. Welcome. Thank you so much to everyone who has found me. It means the world and it's so cool. I don't know, it's cool hanging out with such a small number of you right now, and yeah, we're just like a unique, special group of people who have found each other across the internet, across all time and space. We are here right now. So thank you for being here. I'm out here looking like a whole ass lizard today with this jacket on. I don't know. It's just giving lizard. Anyway, so the card today, the overarching energy, is My World, which is from my deck coming out soon, the My World Oracle. And yeah, I know this message is going to be exciting and happy, but there is this overarching energy that perhaps you're starting to think about this time, or you're acknowledging, and that is that we live in a society. We exist within systems, and sometimes we can be quite controlled by these systems. An example of this would be that potentially there's a dream life we want to be living, but with that you need freedom, right? To be able to do what you really want to do. Sometimes you need the resources, the money, the time to be able to do that, which is, if you're not born into it, can be hard to follow the path that you truly want to, because of a need for safety, a need for security. And yeah, just this acknowledgement, I want to make this acknowledgement right now that there is so much heaviness happening right now with the world. I think a lot of the time when we're talking about our healing journeys, it can be very much focused on the individual, but sometimes we forget to acknowledge the external systems that actually have such an impact on our safety, our mental health, and our happiness. And I just feel like us as a collective are really feeling this right now, and it's important to name this and to remember that there are external circumstances that are out of our control in a lot of ways and can really affect us emotionally. And I just feel like, with neoliberalism, this idea that it's the individual's responsibility to care for themselves, to handle it, to work really hard, to be a part of the rat race, it doesn't give much leniency for what's really going on in our lives, what's happening. And yeah, in social work, we call this systemic violence, right? Like remembering and understanding that there are systems and structures that we are existing within that can limit us in certain ways, that can make us feel heavy, that can make us feel like we don't belong, that we're not valued, right? Even though we are so valuable as the majority, as the people. So yeah, I want to acknowledge that. Yeah, I'll just read a tiny bit from this. Social systems aren't natural, they're engineered, repeated, and enforced until they feel inevitable. In that context, compliance becomes a cultural habit. We're encouraged to earn legitimacy by staying within recognized structures and pleasing the gatekeepers who maintain them. If you can imagine something better, that vision already exists in potential. Sociologists might call it prefigurative politics, living out the world you want before it formally exists. Creation is social design, the act of living your values before the world gives you credit for them. To continue creating within a society that resists change is an act of defiance. You'll meet friction from bureaucracy, from cultural cynicism, from those who preserve outdated systems and call it progress. The pressure you feel is proof that your imagination threatens stagnation. There will be times when imagination feels naive and hope feels unserious, but realism has almost always served to protect the status quo. Every collective shift from women's suffrage to Black liberation to education reform began as people embodying the justice they were told the world wasn't ready for. Yeah, and it can feel privileged, perhaps, or naive to be trying to make art in this economy, in this society, to live out certain dreams you want to live out, to start a channel and talk about healing and growth when there's so much happening, right? But actually, it's so important that there are these offerings, especially in times of darkness. It's bringing up this TED Talk I watched about how art is, I'm just going to put it below in the description, but it's basically like art is so essential for our world. Sharing our talents and our skills are so important now more than ever, you know? So if you feel called to that, it'll be in the description. But in saying all of that, I do feel that the energy is lifting at this time. We're finding ways to continue moving forward. I feel like gateways are opening that were closed before. Even just one idea or one boost of energy is very significant at this time. Your ships are coming in. Okay. It's like you've kept things to yourself for a while. You've preserved your energy. Yeah. I can't show you that, but yeah, you've preserved your energy towards toxic things. You've walked away from them. You've decided to not engage with that energy. It's kind of what was coming up yesterday. But this is, again, this was coming through yesterday, but this is a really smart move at this time. But I'm sensing that this time is of you needing to kind of go inward, regenerate, and protect your energy is closing out. There's going to be we're going to find out. Okay. Who do you need to impress? Yourself. You need to impress yourself at this time. Perhaps you decided to go inward and focus on not looking for external validation for certain things that you're being called to right now, and not caring so much about the feedback, the opinion of others. If you're feeling guided to do something in particular, there's a reason for that. And when you can close out opinions, just kind of bring the attention back to yourself and why you're being pulled in certain ways, even if it doesn't feel so like productive at this time. It's smart. What do you worry about the others? What do you worry that others might think? What would you like to say, but have never said to someone you've worked with? Okay. What kinds of mature qualities do you particularly admire in other people? So this definitely has to do with self and other. And yeah, releasing barriers around caring about what other people think at this time. Where am I? What do I want to do here? I want to do, okay. In your past position, there was conflict that you took the higher ground on. You decided to turn your head towards a different, oh, that's so interesting. But you just got the King of Wands in reverse, clarifying the King of Wands upright. Very, very interesting. And with the Five of Wands, wow, death. Death to conflict and arguments, petty things at this time. That's crazy. Okay, and then we have the Four of Pentacles. We have the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay, so there might have been a lack of support, of guidance. You might not have felt like you could trust many people. It might have been quite a lonely cycle. Okay, but what is coming in now? What is coming in now? Okay. Okay. Oh my gosh. Damn. It's not been easy. It's not been easy for you. Hi, I had to just like clear the energy again. It just didn't feel right. I'm sure we'll get some more information on that, but starting again from where we left off. So choosing more for yourself, wishing for abundance, wishing for material things, success. Like a lot of us in the spiritual community repeat these conversations around like, you know, money won't buy you happiness. It's got to be internal, blah, 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 blah. And of course that's all true. But at the same time, it's all well and good to say that when you are financially stable, when you are secure, when you are living in abundance. But when we don't have this, but we still have dreams we want to go towards that others might look at as naive, when it's like, come on, just get it going. You know, you need to suffer, you need to work extra hard. It's like, where are these ideas coming from? Perhaps this is something that you feel called to, like to speaking to injustices. Otherwise, these are cycles that you've been through, your ancestors have been through, your lineage has been through. I feel like the cycle ends with you though. I feel like if, I think the first step is being able to name what isn't fair, to have the words for that, to have the strength to want to wish for more even when it might seem childish. Being childish is amazing. Being a kid is beautiful. Before the world has told you what you can and can't be, what is and isn't possible, right? Repression of inner child dreams, of feelings. It limits our material world in a lot of ways. I feel like you're just walking away from the noise right now of what is and isn't possible for you and for the world at this time. It's so powerful to be able to continue to hope for a better future for yourself, for others, to see where the system can be changed, to see where things can still change for you and for the world. It's not childish. It's not childish to be positive, right? Like, so often the spiritual community just gets like palmed off as just being like all love and light and like privileged. And it can feel privileged to be like, it's all good, like, but it's, yeah. It's important to see potential. It's important to hope and to wish for more for the world, for yourself. I just feel like these mental bindings that have restricted us in a lot of ways are being lifted at this time as we walk away from harmful, painful situations that have happened to us and that we see. We're gaining clarity and direction in the way that we want to speak. Yeah, there's been this like imbalance between self and other. It's a really tricky it's a tricky energy to speak to because, yes, of course, you know, ignoring, that's not even what I want to say. I'm getting so like stuck with this one. You might have been seen as someone who is reckless, who isn't being a realist. But I think you're onto something here. And I think this rhetoric, this perspective is changing. I think people are going to realize that you're actually full of brilliant ideas. And so if you're feeling encouraged at this time to do something differently, to get your art out there, to get your voice out there, absolutely do it. Absolutely do it. It's so essential. And just trusting that this time around, you know, as you continue to remove these like external opinions of you and this like these ongoing beliefs about what we can actually do, what we can change, what we can be. Focusing again inward to inner child, hopes, dreams. People are seeing you as someone who is extremely optimistic and a bright light, a beacon of hope. And that is so much more inspiring than you even can believe. I don't think you can see your light and the way that you lift people up and inspire them and how much your light is needed. We have purposeful action and celebration bounty. I feel like blocks that may have been very like pertinent recently are clearing now. It's been a balance. It's been a time of balance, a time of delay. You've really been juggling a lot and waiting for a burst of energy, waiting for inspiration, waiting for movement or a sign. And this is coming through. This is coming through. We have 9 here. Completion. I feel like over the next 3 days, specifically, there's going to be movement. It might be behind the scenes, but something is aligning for you at this time. It might even just be something that you couldn't see before that's becoming clear. You know, sometimes we need the harsh truth. We need the reality to understand where to go from there. We have Magpie coming up. It's not about you, it's about you through them. So if you feel called to share in some type of way, but you're worried about how it's going to be perceived, it's really, remember that this is a journey of you and your self-expression as well. It's not just about how people interpret your essence, your light, but it's also about you sharing your beliefs, your values, and trusting that the right people are going to see you, are going to resonate with you and trust your vision. How would you approach your challenges today, right now? This is like, I wrote this really terribly, but this is actually funny because it was coming up earlier, but I was just thinking about how, you know, like I was asking myself, if you could see where certain things could take you that right now you're like really unsure about, if you could see them, if you could see your future and you could see yourself succeeding in those things, how would you be right now? Would you feel a lot more relaxed? Would you feel a lot more self-assured? Yes, because you'd know that it was leading you somewhere. And that's why optimism is so important, because if we don't have optimism, if we can't see, you know, in our minds, in our visions, like the ideal way that things pan out, if we can't dream and imagine that, it's not going to motivate us to keep moving towards these things, even when, you know, the world feels so heavy, or when we have naysayers around us, people that don't see our vision. Yeah, it's so important that we can trust our vision and we can trust that good things can happen to us. Good things can happen to us. Good things can come through for us. And that's not naive to dream. Yeah, this has been a really like hard one to get across. But I feel like that's kind of a part of the message, is that, and now I'm seeing the speak card in my head, which is from my deck, but about just kind of getting it out there, even if it's a bit messy. I also feel like I can't really make eye contact. Maybe you feel like that. Maybe you feel a little bit shy or a little bit just like reserved at this time and you're wanting to protect your energy, and that's fine. Even if you have to do things with your voice shaking and whilst you're unsure and you don't necessarily like feel safe enough to like look up and read the room and see if it's being taken well or whatever, it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And that actually, like, yeah, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and jumping into things that light you up and make you feel free at this time. It's just the right way to go, and I just feel like you're going to be so pleasantly surprised by what meets you on the other side of taking some of these risks. I feel like I'm already like ready to close out. I don't think this is going to be a super long one today. Yep. There's been burdens that you've been carrying from like a long time ago, from past cycles that have really restricted your ability to speak, to really go for what you want, to be very direct, to be very confident. And that's ending, baby. That is ending. I feel like your light has not been appreciated. You haven't been in the right rooms. You haven't been in the right spaces yet. And this is on purpose because I feel like you've had to build up personal power to get to this space where you can recognize the beauty within yourself, which often comes from, you know, being heartbroken, being challenged, being ridiculed, humiliated, whatever that is. You know, first you might be feeling shame, resentment, guilt. You start to process that. You might feel anger, frustration. You process that. And then you end up coming back to this space of being like, I'm sorry that's happened to you. Like, I love you so much. Like, we can do this. That's how you should be speaking to yourself right now. I just feel like the last few cycles, you haven't felt very fulfilled. You haven't felt like the right opportunities have come through for you. The right people have come through for you. You might feel like you've missed opportunities. It wasn't the right time, and they're coming back around now. It's time to move now and to take action now. You've closed out these cycles of doubt. You've answered all the questions in your head. And there's movement here. There is movement here. Finally, it's time to act. The time is now. Maybe yes on the bottom here. Can we get anything else for this beautiful collective, please? Before we close out, we have improving health on the top here. That does so. Healing internally, our fears, the blockages that stop us from taking certain moves. It really does so much to our physical body, our emotional body, our fields. Yay! In the near future, big happy changes and opportunity. My love, your light is so important in this world. We have on the bottom again. You have something to share with the world. You have beautiful visions that some might say is naive, some might see as naive. Let them. I just feel like there is this like future energy coming to you that you might not even hear about or see, but I feel like certain people are gonna think like, damn, they were kind of right. Damn, they really went for that. Like, I feel like people are gonna be inspired by you at this time about what you've allowed to come through and stir everything up. It's not been an easy cycle for you, and you've overcome these challenges with such dignity and grace, and it's making you such a multifaceted person. Such a multifaceted person who can really speak to certain injustices, right? And we love the underdog. We love the person who allows, like, lets certain things kind of try and attack them, but has the inner power and the strength to not let it affect you or your vision, just letting it kind of nip at you, but just staring forward and not focusing on what is trying to block you, delay you anymore. That's closing out. With the 44 on the bottom here, this is the last card in the deck, and it speaks to abundance, material success, celebration. There might be something you're celebrating at this time. It might be someone's birthday, or, you know, you might be finishing something here, releasing something into the world. There's so much excitement here. There's so much celebration of you coming through, and people are going to be shocked. They didn't see this coming. You've closed out conflict and illusions. You've recognized that what has challenged you has been essential in your growth and essential in this version of you that's showing up right now that is very, very secure in what they want to share, regardless of the mess. And with, again, I'm getting this like humiliation energy coming through. Like, even if there were certain things you never got to say your piece on, there are certain stories that are being told about you or whatever, but you decided to just get up and walk away and focus on your highest truth, on what you really want, on your destiny. Nothing's being left unsaid, okay? You don't even have to say certain things because it's just going to be obvious. Like, it's going to be so obvious that you are deserving of what's coming through. Like, no one can say that you don't deserve this, okay? You deserve this. You worked super hard for this, my love. If you have a loved one on the other side, if you work with spirit, oh my God, I'm getting chills. Like, just, there's so much, the cycles you're closing out for your lineage, the legacy you're going to leave behind is very, very potent. We have career, spiritual guidance, protection from harm. What I really want to know is what knocked the My World card off, because that has something to do with this. Successfully overcoming a problem brings so many new opportunities. Congratulations, you are closing out a huge cycle here. I can't stress this enough, and this isn't something I say in every reading, okay? This is specifically for you, okay? You know that we like to look at the good and the bad here. Do not be tempted to lower your standards. It's really funny as well because I've got this like tiny little tiara and I was trying to wear it, but it kept falling off my head before I started. But you're being crowned, you're being celebrated, acknowledged, okay? Don't lower your standards at this time. You've worked for this. You've worked for it. You've asked for more and it's coming in. So don't be surprised and don't second guess it, okay? Let it happen. Yes, 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 yes. I think there are certain people who are going to be regretting letting go of you, my love, but we don't even want to engage in that energy right now. We just want to celebrate you. I just feel like today is a good day to like eat some cake. You might have had some sweets today so far, or you know, put some sweetener in your coffee, or like, I don't know, dress up cute, wear a lizard jacket. Celebrate yourself today. That's going to be very, very, regardless of when you're seeing this, like it has just been the full moon in Leo, but this energy's important no matter when you see this. It's like a fresh perspective is coming through, and such a beautiful way to bring in intel and information and ideas and clarity is to treat yourself, to celebrate yourself, to love yourself, affirmations. Yeah. You should just be so proud of yourself. It's not been easy, but here you are on the other side. There's noticed another 2 here. Someone new is entering your life. News of a birth or a new business opportunity. New life here for you. I'm getting love for some of you. We have the Wheel of Fortune upright that really wants to come through. I'm just going to let this be the last card here. Things are turning in your favor. Destiny. A turning point for you. Self-love is so important here. We got a 9 again. Completion. Completion. An alignment. Thank you for being here. If you made it to the end, I would love to hear if this resonated for you. If you want to subscribe and hang out, I would love that. And if there's anything you want to hear, any kind of readings or anything, let me know, because I'm talking to such a small number of you, so may as well make it as specific as possible. But yeah, always down to chat. Love you so much. Thank you for sharing your time with me. You are an awesome person, and I've loved working with your energy today. So yeah, I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.